We're going to
WBA middleweight belt currently in possession of Danny Jacobs. He wins.
We're going to listen to what Chris Eubank Jr. has to say during the post-fight interview. He just beat Spike O'Sullivan. Spike O'Sullivan quit on his stool, and he was getting punished. Now, impressive win by Chris Eubank Jr., but there's still some things to be worked on. For example, like he don't know when to showboat properly. When he showboats, he usually takes like a clean punch. He has this thing where he does this ducking under thing and this, where he turns his back and starts walking away and he takes clean shots. He's now going to be in line to fight Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is likely going to be fighting the winner of Andy Lee, Billy Joe Saunders next. And then you got Chris Eubank Jr., who is the WBA mandatory for Danny Jacobs, but not Gennady Golovkin. And that's just crazy to me how they're going to make Chris Eubank Jr. the mandatory for Danny Jacobs, but won't make Danny Jacobs the mandatory for Golovkin. But Chris Eubank Jr., see, the thing is, it's hard to say that he's good. Like, he can fight, but it's hard for me to say and feel comfortable in saying that Chris Eubank Jr. is good. For example, he throws so many power punches, but yet it's like he doesn't really look good doing it. Like every punch he throws outside of the jab, which he rarely throws, seems to be he's always trying to knock you out. I'm wondering, if Spike O'Sullivan would have threw more punches, because at one point in time, Spike O'Sullivan just kept walking in and not throwing any punches to the point where he was getting punished to the body. His punches started getting slower and slower. Let's listen to what Chris Eubank Jr. has to say.
He said, I apologize, so I shook his hand. The beef is squashed. What about the ending with the corner right to put him out? It seemed like you were having real success, particularly with the left hands to the body in that round. I think I had a lot of success with pretty much all the punches in the book. He took a hell of a lot of punishment. And obviously he had to give up his stool. But this is just a stepping stone. I'm looking into bigger and better things now, and I'm on track to become full world champion very soon. Well, with your father English, how proud are you of that performance this evening?
Oh well, you see now, who won here tonight was Sky Sports and the fans. It was a great performance by both men.
It just started booing. But listen, Chris Eubank Jr. is good for boxing. He's a good charismatic figure, especially with the combination of him and his father. What I noticed is with Adam Booth is not having, or they may have came to an agreement where Chris Eubank Jr., the father, is not coming into the ring and, providing the theatrics. If you don't know, Chris Eubank Sr. used to come into the ring in between rounds and just stare at his son like his son is just some type of genetic specimen or something. And Chris Eubank Sr. is not doing that right now. Right now, I look at this kid and I just think to myself, like, I don't feel comfortable saying that he's good. I don't feel comfortable. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of middleweights that he can beat, but when you stack him up against the middleweight champions of the world, when you stack him up against a Golovkin, can a Chris Eubank Jr., the Chris Eubank Jr. you've seen tonight, beat a Gennady Golovkin, he's going to likely get knocked out, especially with the few big shots that he took from Spike O'Sullivan tonight. Can he beat a Danny Jacobs? Danny Jacobs has been down by Sergio Mora and knocked out by Dmitry Pirog a few years back. So a lot of people may say, well, he could probably knock him down and Danny Jacobs can't take those shots. But Danny Jacobs is the better fighter. Can a Chris Eubank beat a David Lemieux? Maybe. Can he beat a Canelo Alvarez? I don't know. Can he beat a Miguel Cotto? I don't know. So it's still, some questions that have to be answered. And also, don't expect for Chris Eubank Jr. to be fighting Danny Jacobs next. I'm expecting there's going to be some type of, another fight the way Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman work. There's going to be another fight for Chris Eubank Jr. likely on his own card against somebody that's ranked by the WBA, maybe, because I just don't see it. It looks like right now, Lou DiBella, who's right now currently promoting or has Danny Jacobs fighting on his cards, it looks like they're after Danny Jacobs versus Andy Lee if Andy Lee wins against Billy Joe Saunders. It doesn't seem like, you know, that they want to fight Chris Eubank Jr. next, and they haven't been talking about anything about Chris Eubank Jr. or Gary Spike O'Sullivan, you know, and it's crazy because that would have been one of the questions I would have asked, which I'm pissed why I didn't go to Brooklyn for the Danny Jacobs Peter Quillen fight, because that would have been one of the questions I would have asked Danny Jacobs. Is like, yo, so what do you think about fighting Chris Eubank Jr. possibly, you know, in the future? And I can't imagine. It'd be crazy having Chris Eubank Jr. and his father come to the United States, because I don't see Al Heyman allowing Danny Jacobs to go fight in the UK. So I see Chris Eubank Jr. Coming over to probably fight in Brooklyn, or they may put it on the undercard or something. You never know. But I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live, getting ready for the main event, Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte. I cover every single major fight live. Getting back into the swing of things. And like I said, the questions is, you know, like, how good is Chris Eubank Jr.? Like, I know, like, he can fight. He can fight. But I can't say that he's a star. I can't say it yet. I can't say it yet. I can't say that he's going to be a pound-for-pound great. I can't say it yet. I can't even say he's going to be a world champion. You know, I just don't know. Follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy. Follow me on Instagram at T Street Controversy. Go to my like page, the first link right there in the description box, T Street Controversy. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.